Hold your horses, bud. Before you come at me for saying I'm doom posting, I want to preface this by saying that this isn't me complaining that Splatoon 3 is dying, though it's great clickbait. It's actually quite the opposite. I'm asking a genuine question here. Why are you still playing competitive Splatoon 3? I have 4 topics I want to cover in this video, and this is also entirely unscripted, so this is very unfortunate for all of you because I've never understood what the word concise means. Now, the first and most important thing I want to discuss is setting goals for yourself while you're playing competitive Splatoon. It's easy to just kind of play the game haphazardly with no reason other than the fact that you've already been doing it for a while and you've already invested the time, so why would you stop? I was like that for a long time. A little bit of my backstory, I started playing competitive Splatoon back when the second game came out. I bought a Switch just to play it. I eventually dropped it after a few months because I was busy with university, but when Splatoon 3 came out, I immediately hopped back in and jumped straight into competitive. It wasn't up until May of 2024 when I finally set goals for myself and actually had a reason to start playing the game. I was able to afford to go to a LAN for the first time in my life. I live in a very rural place in Canada, and it's so much more expensive to get out of here to go anywhere. But in May, I made my first trip to the US and I went to LTC 2024. Going to LTC changed my entire outlook on playing competitive Splatoon or even just being interested in it. I met so many amazing people. I got so much more integrated into the community. I had amazing experiences and just became reinvigorated and wanted to play the game more and succeed. More specifically, I got into playing Reflux. LTC 2024 is the first time I really ever played Reflux competitively. I played it on the main stage in front of a live crowd, and I remember the feeling of people getting shocked and cheering when they saw the weapon come out. Every single time I got a kill, I could hear cheering. Through my headphones, I could hear people cheering.
Have a pretty significant
Oh my
impact.
god, Hammy! Hammy, you are insane on this Reflux right now. Like, you're not just a passive painting Reflux, you're also being aggressive. You're gonna go help and get picks. You are doing everything in this kit to help support your teammate. Here's your true support right here. There you go.
It made me so excited that all I could do was think about wanting to play the game and grind and get better. And from that point on, I started one-tricking Reflux. And from that day, I made my goal to push Reflux as far as I could. That became the reason I play Splatoon. Now, obviously, I have more than just one goal, which I'm not going to go too heavily into it, because honestly, I'm not very organized or structured, hence the entirely unscripted video. But I have to have a lot of other smaller goals and even bigger goals to accomplish to continue seeing my growth and having those milestones to look back on as I improve. I think what I'm getting at here is that you need to set goals and milestones for yourself to actually have a reason to play the game. There was a long period for over a year that I didn't enjoy playing Splatoon. It felt like a chore or even a job. I was just showing up to team practices a couple times a week and doing the minimum amount just to keep myself playing the game. And I'm sure many other people are like this. They don't have a reason to play. They just do it because it's their hobby, I guess. Change can be a scary thing. So I think a lot of people just don't want to quit the game and make that big of a change because they're so used to playing it. And it can be a comfort thing for a lot of people. Splatoon is a very fun game, and it's been a very inclusive space for a lot of different marginalized groups. Now, I don't think people should stop playing Splatoon at all. I think there's a lot of reasons to play it. But people need to start actively setting goals so that you can have a reason to continue to play and have something to celebrate when you improve. Now, I don't know how much I really want to ramble about setting goals because it's a fairly obvious thing and also a fairly personal thing. I don't think there's a formula for how you should be setting your goals. I think it depends on the person about how big or how small you want to dream and how far in the future you want to look ahead. But either way, having some kind of goals or some kind of plan of what you want your improvements to look like is really important to have to continue having the drive to play the game. This brings us to the second topic I wanted to talk about, which is investing in yourself. There's been a lot of discussions on Blue Sky recently about how people need to start uploading VODs of their sets, they need to start recording, need to start streaming, and need to start putting out more content surrounding Splatoon. Now, this is definitely a step in the right direction. I think that more people need to start putting themselves out there and putting out their gameplay. But just as a whole, we need people to start investing in themselves more. We need people to start stepping out of their comfort zone a bit and start being more of a presence, building up more of a brand, more consistency. Start being recognizable more than just a username of somebody you might recognize from playing SOS once in a while or random other tournaments. Splatoon players not investing in themselves is fairly obvious to me as a commentator, because it's pretty common that I'll commentate a tournament and not know who any of the 8 players on the screen are. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of people who you don't know, because the scene is bigger than you might expect. There's a lot of players, especially in the low level, who are fairly new to it. But there's so many players who I vaguely recognize the name, or I recognize the team name, and I don't know who any of them are because they don't post on social media, their team doesn't post on social media, they don't stream, they don't record, their Sendo page is empty, they don't have information about them. And for me personally, when I started playing, one of my favorite things about playing the game was when I got to go on stream and watch back the commentators talk about my gameplay and see what I did right, what I did wrong, and get excited when the camera spectator caught all of my really cool plays. But it also really sucks when you look at the stream and the commentators have nothing to say about you because they've never heard about you in their lives, and they just happen to not catch any of your cool plays. There's no consistency, there's no history, there's no excitement to it. But then you look at a broadcast when a popular team is playing, and suddenly the commentators are excited to commentate, they know about these teams, there's so much more passion in history and a better experience overall in these broadcasts with these more experienced teams. Now, in the production side of the scene, the commentators, the TOs, the streamers, everything surrounding the tournaments and the streams, there's a lot of talk about what we call storylines. Now, these are very common in other esports and other competitive scenes, even normal sports. It's the growth of players and teams throughout the years that they're playing as they improve and get better. It's so much more interesting to watch them because you get to see them grow. You get to be a part of the experience and root them on. In the Splatoon scene, we've struggled a lot with being able to make storylines because there's a lot of pickups, not a lot of actual long-running teams, and inconsistencies with players sticking around for the long run. But on top of this, going back to this topic, there's no one investing in themselves. We need people to build up a personal brand and do their part to share their story with us so that we can also appreciate what they're doing. As a perfect example, I've been trying to build my storyline with the Reflux. It's a very uncommon weapon, so it's fairly easy to be recognized by playing it. Now, I'm not a consistent streamer. In fact, I stream probably once every couple months, which I'm hoping to get back into. Not making promises, who knows? But in general, it's come to a point where there's a lot of people who've become invested in my growth. I've been playing Reflux for nearly a year now as a one-trick, and I have so many mutuals and even people who I don't personally know who have been commenting on how I've improved in the Reflux and are excited to get to see me play and have noticed the growth over this past year and how much better I've gotten and how much more I've pushed the weapon. Not only is the storyline important for me so I can track my own growth, it's also a great tool for others to get to know me. There are so many people who don't really know me personally and I've never met, who at LANs have stopped me and say, "Oh, you're Hammy, you're the Reflux guy, you've been, grinding that weapon." It's a great way to meet people. It's a great tool for commentators to make a more interesting story on streams during tournaments. And overall, there's not really any downsides to investing in yourself, having a story, and having growth. Not only is it important to invest in yourself, but we also need to start investing in others. which brings me to my third topic, which is to invest in others. Ultimately, the scene is the community. The game is completely irrelevant. Sure, it's the medium that we picked to play, but the people are what matter. So even though we should be investing in ourselves and making these storylines, we need to observe others and watch their storylines too. Without the community, there is no scene. So we need to take the time to care about everyone, to make connections, to talk with others and enjoy their storylines and their passion and have fun watching everyone else cheering each other on and motivating each other, lifting each other up instead of beating each other down and berating each other. Just, look at what Twitter turned into. It's why we all moved to Blue Sky. We need to continue to foster an environment where we can uplift each other and invest time into each other's journeys. One of the reasons I still play this game is because of how many people have come up to me out of the blue and talked about how they get excited watching me play, how they think it's really cool what I'm doing. I've had my fair share of times where I've considered quitting the game, but then I just think to those days where I've received DMs from people who I don't know talking about how they played a match against me and thought it was cool what I was doing, or thinking to days where I've gone to LTC or Riptide and people who I've never met have stopped me and wanted to chat because they've heard about me or played against me and were interested in me as a person because of what I've been
Gravity
doing.
opting to go for the left checkpoint right now. The Zipcaster is out. Rush is still in the base. Does go down, but that's 3 down on the side of Los Inklings. Hammy is once again the only one left alive, is able to stop that Rainmaker.
Hammy
is going ham this set. I don't know what else to say. Like, Hammy is very much single-handedly helping Los Inklings save these checkpoints for any kind of objective here. Here's your all-time support player, MVP.
If other people weren't investing in me and investing in my story, I would have probably quit a long time ago. And so as a community, we need to continue doing just that. We need to invest in others. We need to take the time to listen to what others have to say and to enjoy and embrace what they bring to the scene. And this is something that I'm really trying to focus on this year especially. I am a bit of a hypocrite. Even though I am a Splatoon 3 commentator, I don't really watch a lot of Splatoon 3 streams. So this year I've been focusing on watching as many tournaments as I can to see what my peers in commentary are cooking up this year. On top of that, there's a lot of people who work in the production scene and a lot of TOs who are trying their best to make really cool events, and I don't think enough people really give them the time of day to watch those streams and to have those experiences. So I implore all of you, go invest in others. Go on Blue Sky and reply to people's posts about stuff and give interesting feedback about things and compliment people about things that they're doing that are really cool. Go watch tournament streams of tournaments that you're not playing in. Get invested in these teams and these players who are running stuff. Get invested in these commentators who commentate all these tournaments and give you these cool experiences. Invest in your TOs who are thanklessly making these tournaments behind the scenes and don't really get a lot of recognition for it. You can also invest in others directly and actively by getting into tournament production, getting into TOing, streaming, commentating, or even doing community events in some of these communities that we've built around Splatoon. And now this brings us back to the titular question. Point number 4. Why are you still playing competitive Splatoon 3? Looking back on the previous 3 topics, setting goals, investing in yourself, and investing in others, what is the reason you're still here? What keeps you going? What do you want to accomplish in the future? And what do you want to see the community look like? It's a very important discussion that we need to have independently and as a community. And I want to see more people openly discussing what they want to see and what they want to bring to the table. I don't know how coherent any of this was. Again, purely unscripted, very awkwardly edited, I'm sure, because I'm not a great editor. But I hope this sparked something. I hope that you come away from this video having a better idea of what you want to accomplish and what you want to see from the scene. So that being said, please go out there and start doing stuff. Start sharing your story, start sparking discussions, and pushing others to do their best, and also push yourself to do your best. I don't really know how to end videos, so be good to yourself, be good to others, go do some cool shit. I'm sure I'll catch you around.